Alright, in our previous videos we created optional regions, and before that we created a template with editable regions. We're still working on the template.dwt file. And if I come over here to Dreamweaver, you'll see that we have a template file. And we can even preview this. What it does for us, this is kind of interesting when you look at the live preview in Dreamweaver. You get the header area, and then it actually shows both optional regions. So here was the full width optional region that we had, and then here's the one where we have main and aside. So when you see that in the template, you're going to see both of them. Our next step, and this is the part that gets a little tricky, is to apply the template to all of our pages. Now, throughout the course of MGD 141, we've done this in sort of, I would say, a backwards order. Now, normally, if you had a working knowledge of Dreamweaver ahead of time, you would actually start with a template before you create any of these other pages. Because we needed to learn a little bit about HTML and CSS first, we didn't go that route. But normally we would have a template that we create from scratch, and then we can create new pages from that template, so we don't have to go back and apply them after the fact. But that's okay. We're going to do just fine. I just wanted to let you know that if you're really building a website in Dreamweaver, it'd probably be easiest to just start with a template with a CSS style sheet attached to it, create all your global design, leave a place for where page content will go, create all your pages, and then come in and add the content, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Of course it makes sense. Alright, so our next step is to apply this to our content. Now, where this is going to get tricky is our About page. I don't think we've put anything on any of our other pages yet, so those aren't such a concern. For example, if I go to the Contact page, there's nothing there. There's just white. Alright, so this page really doesn't have anything to lose. I'll go ahead and close that. The page that's going to be a little tricky is the page that already has the design, and that's going to be our About page. Now, we had already created a copy of it, so just in case something happens to this page, we don't lose all of our content. And let's go ahead and apply it to our About page first. Now, it's probably best to actually not have the About page open. I'm only going to open it right now because I want to copy and paste all of the content. And I'm actually going to copy and paste it from the code view instead of preview view. And I want to copy everything that's inside my main tags all the way from there. So there's my main close tag. There's my main open tag, and I'm just going to hit edit, copy. There's also a short code for that. Now this kind of puts it in a temporary storage, and then I can close that page. And I can also close the template page. Now I'm going to open up my index page again. I know this is getting a little weird, but I just wanted to make sure I copied and pasted it first. And then we come up here to Modify, Templates, and Modify, Templates. I get a lot of grayed region, and I'm thinking it's because I'm in live view. So let's go to code view. So we're going to do Modify, Templates, Apply Template to Page. So for some reason that's grayed out if I'm in live view, but I'm in code view now. Templates, apply template to page. You'll see that you have the site that you should be working in. Again, if you haven't done your site setup before this, you're going to really have a hard time with working with templates. You always, and there's another video on managing your sites, and that always has to be set up before you do anything. But once you have your site set up, you should see the template. We only have one, so that's easy to choose. Keep this check mark update when template changes selected. That's the whole point of a template, is to have your entire site update anytime you make changes to your template. If you uncheck this, then it's not going to do that, and that would kind of defeat the purpose. I guess they give you the option in case you want to, but we're going to want to leave that checked on. So there's our site. We have template, checkbox. Go ahead and hit select. Now here's where sometimes things get a little tricky. You might have slightly different results. I'm going to go ahead and just do not resolved for all of these regions. It's saying that these regions aren't resolved. This happens once in a while. It should really only happen on this page. We'll see if it happens on our other pages. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's just see how this goes. Sometimes you have to set where they go. Actually, let's do that right now. Let's do document body to nowhere, and then click use for all. So both of them are going to go nowhere. And I'm not sure I'm really good at explaining how or why this works, but we're going to choose nowhere for both and hit OK. Alright, so we've applied it to that page. And do we have page content editable? If I go to live view, I'm not sure it did it right. I'll go back to code view. It looks like we've got the code correct. Instance and I'm trying to figure out if it did this correctly or not. If it did do it right, we should be able to edit this content that is right here. So this is the about page. If I come back to live view, so it's updating. I shouldn't be able to change anything else. So if I select anything outside of what's in this editable area, I shouldn't be able to change it. So that looks like it worked. We'll go ahead and hit save. But then remember, I had all that code that I copied. So right here in between my editable region tags, I'll do edit, paste, and the short code is Command V on the Macintosh. And it puts all that content I had on my about page back in there. I can switch back to live view, and there we go. I got all my content back on the about page. Going back to code view, there's another place where I can change the title. So right up here where we see Philo webcomic, about Philo, the web comic. So I can change the page title for that page. So every page that you apply this to, you should be able to change the title, and you should be able to change the content between those regions. And now I can hit save. And now my about page is updated. So if I go view it in Safari, there it is, working just fine. The archives page has no content, so how about we do that one next? Let's close this index page. we next go to the archives page, open that up. We got like no code there. Once again, modify, template, apply template to page. There it is. Hit select. In this case, we're going to go nowhere again for the document body. And we hit OK. I should now be able to change. This is the Philo archives page in the title. And then down here in the page content, and I'm not sure why this doesn't get color coordinated. It used to. Maybe when we open it up again later it will, but this is the archives page. I'm just going to change it so I can tell that it's different. So now if I go to live view, it should say this is the archives page, but I have everything else in place. So this is looking good. Alright, so that worked. We can close the archives page, and you'll keep doing that for all of these pages. So here's there. We'll do this one more time, then I think you get the idea. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and do it because we're going to next move on to our full width pages. And I can't be in live view, need to be in code view. Modify, template, apply template to page. There it is. Hit select, document body, nowhere, hit OK. I'll go ahead and change my page title. Contact the author of Philo. And we'll come back down here to our editable area. This is the contact page. And I can come back later to change that content. I just want to make sure that it's different so I can tell as I'm clicking through each page that it's different. And there's the contact page. And I can close that one. Let's next go to our home page. So our home page doesn't have anything on it yet either. Modify, template, again can't be in live view. Modify, template, apply template to page. There it is. Hit select, document body will go nowhere. Now in this case, you'll see that, or I'm going to just do a page title. Welcome to the Philo webcomic as the title. Generally these shouldn't be in all uppercase. Search engines actually don't really like that. So I will change these out so that it's not all uppercase. And then we have page content. This is the home page. And I can save that, and we come up here and look at it. But now I've got the wrong optional region turned on. Let's go back to code view, and we're going to need to change that. So we'll come up here to modify, template properties. And you'll see that you have your two optional regions available here. So what I want to do is with main and aside selected, I'm going to uncheck show min and aside. So that actually changes the value to false. And then if I have main only, I'll check show main only. So that changes it to true. Hit OK. So what's happened here is everything up here in the header got reversed. This used to be true and this used to be false. Now can you just go into the code and change it in the code? Yes, you can. So this little modify template properties is kind of a fancy way of having it change this code for you. And that's it. Now I've got a different editable area, so I still have to go back and put in this is the home page. I'll hit save. Now let's go take a look at it. Now you can see that it's full view. And the nice thing is it still has all of the links working. Well, they don't work in live view, I guess. So if I went to view this in Safari, here's the home page. We go to About, we can go to Archives, we can go to Contact, we can go to Home. Nice thing is it figured out all of those links for me. Does that make sense? All the ... the relative links we had to do, it figured that out for me. So that was nice. I'm going to do a few more full width pages for privacy policy and terms of use. I think you get the idea, but I'll do the privacy policy one more time. So I did the home page. Come here to the privacy policy page. And I guess I'm making this full width because it's more of an admin type of page, not necessarily part of my comic. So this is more of my legal stuff, and I really don't need to have the aside on this page. So modify template. Again, I can't be in live view. I keep doing that. Template, apply to template. There it is. Select. Put this to nowhere. Hit OK. And I'll change privacy policy hyphen philo web comic. In my content area, this is the privacy policy page. I think I'll do another video on how you can go get privacy policy pages generated for you for free. We'll just put this in here for now. Hit save. There we go. Now this is one that we want to have full width. So I need to go back to my code, format. Now if I want to just do it right here, I'm going to go ahead and do it in code. Set this to false and this one to true. Hit save. Go back to live view. I'll have to refresh this, I think. Did it work? Oh jeez, come on. I'm going to close it and open it up again. Maybe this time. No? Okay, let's go back up here. I thought that would work. Not sure why that didn't work. Well, maybe I can't. So let's go to modify template properties. So main and inside should be false. Main and only should be set to true. Hit OK. Full width content. This is the privacy policy page. Go ahead and hit save. Live view, and now it's wide. Okay, that was a little strange. I think it should have worked. Anyway, we got one more to do, and then I think you could probably fast forward the video for this part because I know you got the hang of it. But in case you want it one more time, here we go. Can't be in live view. Modify template, apply template to page, select document body, set to nowhere, hit OK. We need to come up here and modify template properties. We'll set this one to false, this one to true, hit OK. And this is the terms of use page. Actually, we could go ahead and write some content here. And this is really simple. I'm going to go ahead and create an H1 tag. And every page probably should have H1 tags in it. And in this case, terms of use. Add a paragraph by visiting this website. You agree to use this content as is. All content is copyright protected by the author. Do not copy sell or redistribute any of this content without written permission from the author. Any content or websites linked to from this website are not necessarily the opinion or creation of the author of this website. Visit other websites at your own volition. How's that for a fancy word? Alright, so I just, and you could probably have your lawyer write this, but what I'm basically saying is, hey, this is a website, and I just have it up here, and I got some copyright information here, and I'm also sort of giving myself a little bit of a disclaimer of any links that I link to from the site. It could be ads. Maybe we got links to other comics. So you just kind of tell them that there's a terms of use for using this site. Do you have to have a terms of use for your website? You know, you could probably get away with that one. I think most people understand what websites, but you definitely need to have a privacy policy page, and it needs to be well written. And you can go to free privacy policy generator sites out there and use the content that it puts together for you. Alright, so this is our terms of use page, and that's what that now looks like. Looks pretty good. Alright, so what we've done here is we've applied all of that content. I'm going to do one more thing, and that will be on the home page. Is go ahead and add some content. Here's our home page again. And now we're in live view. So in live view, I can edit as if this was directly on the page. And maybe you've already started using this feature, but up until now you've been using the code view a lot. What I'm going to do here is download. I need to go to the class website to download this file where is sphere JPEG. And we'll download this. And then I gotta make sure I put that downloaded image into my website file. Actually, watch this. I'm gonna do a little trick. I'm gonna put it on my desktop first. Don't need the preview. That is my artwork, by the way, in case you're wondering. I did draw and write that. It's not the best cartoon, but it's kind of fun. What I want to do is be able to get that onto my home page. So, on my home page, if you're in Dreamweaver, there's a new window you're going to want to open, and it's called Properties. Now, by default, it kind of floats it up here. I like to stick it down at the bottom. When I see that little blue line, I can let go, and it parks it there, and now it's there every time I use Dreamweaver. So if I'm in the content area, I can select all of this area, and I could probably first do welcome to Philo web comic. I suppose it is grammatically correct to say welcome to the Philo webcomic, and then I'll do latest comic, colon. I can highlight this content, and in my properties window down below, I think, hello, let me hit this refresh button. There we go. So if things get stuck, there's a little refresh button up here. I should be able to select content, and it's not letting me change it. Let's switch away from live to design view. Maybe that's what's holding me up. If I go to design view, I should be able to select that content, Notice in design view I can't see my web font anymore, so it's not pulled in. But I can change the format from paragraph to heading 1. And then latest webcomic, I'm going to have a comic right here. And with my cursor, you can barely see it, but there's a cursor blinking right here. I can come to Insert, switch this back to HTML. It was on templates and now I have HTML. I'm going to choose Image. And it's going to start in my folder, but in this case, my image is on my desktop. And I'm going to choose Philo, where is Spear? And I'll hit Open. Now when I do that, Dreamweaver says, hey, this isn't in the website folder. And it needs to be, and you're going to go, and it's going to ask you if it can make a copy for you. And you go, oh yes, that's very kind of you. And then you choose which folder it goes into. I'm going to put it into my Images folder. I can even change the name as I'm saving it. So it's probably good that I follow convention. And that's not necessary, because you're not always going to get images with the proper file name convention. So it's your job to change it to that. So I'm going to change it to, let's just do Philo cartoon. Let's do Philo comic. Where is Spear? Save that in my Images folder and hit Save. And voila, it puts it in there for me automatically. I can even click on the image and there's a window in the Properties window to write an alt tag. So I will, where is your spear? Now in this case I'm not going to describe the whole punchline in the alt tag, but I will write an alt tag just so that that there is one and people can get an understand what that comic or what that image is about. So now I can hit save. Now let's go back to live view, and there's my webcomic. If I go back and refresh this, we can see that that's what it looks like. Now there are some things I could do with CSS to center this comment. I could create a custom class and apply it either to the comic or that paragraph so that that paragraph is always text aligned center. And then this would be right in the middle, but right now it doesn't look bad. If it's a little bit over to the left, it fills it out pretty good. Likewise, there are things I can do with CSS to have that shrink down in size with the site. I'm not going to do that now. I know you know how to do it. Probably by the next time you see this website, though, I will have updated that stuff in the styling so that it's centered and so that it's responsive. And the way you would do that is you would have a class that lets your image go down to max width 100%. If you do that, it's very important that your image is exactly the pixel size you need it in your website. If it's bigger than that, it's not going to work, and then you have to set a designated size for that image. Now you can do that when you have it in your HTML. So the code that this wrote for us here probably put in our height and width. Yeah, right here. So you can see width 900, height 300. And we could add another class for our homepage comic if we wanted to, or maybe for all comics because we'll have archive pages for our site. But what's exciting is here we are, we've had an about page forever, and now we finally have a full width homepage as well, and we got a comic on it. I mean, it's been how many weeks to try to make this thing look like a web comic. And so now people could bookmark this, and every time you update it, they'd be able to see your most recent comic. There's probably a navigation we could add here for previous or first, and then it would let them browse the archives of comics to be able to see past comics that we have. But the most important thing here is that we learned how to create and use our template. And so now, if we see how everything is on our site, check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and close my home page. Everything's closed. Come back to my files. I'm going to open up my template. Here's my template file. Let's change something. We can come over here to design view of the template, and maybe we need to add a new menu item, and we do store. So I'll hit return here. Oops. Actually, I'm going to do this in code view so I don't mess it up. Notice I've got home, about, archives, contact. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is create a new page from a template. So we come up here to template, and the template actually doesn't need to be open while this is going on, but I'll show you what we're going to do here in a second. We're going to go File, New, and this time, instead of when we got this new document window, before we've always created a new document and it was blank, but this time we have a template. So when we create a new document, you'll see Site Templates here. You'll find your website and you'll find that template, and you'll say Create. Make sure that stays checked. And now we have a new page. And I haven't called it anything yet, but in the content, I'm going to go, this is the store page. Alright, and in the title, I'll put Shop the Philo Store. Come up here to File, Save As. And now I'm going to create a new folder. We'll call it Store. Hit Create, and this will be another index.html page. So we've got ourselves a store page. Notice that it added the folder for us in our files window, and in there is now an index page. If I go and look at it, that is what it looks like right now. Store page, do I want the tip jar? You know, I could maybe make this a full width page and switch the optional region if I wanted to. I'll just leave it alone for now. But what happens is I need to be able to add store to my main navigation. So let's close this page and come back to our template page. And I'm going to create a new list item in my navigation. And in between my list item tags, I write the word store. Go ahead and hit refresh on your properties. Then highlight the word store, and you'll see down in this properties there's a little window for link. I'll click on this little folder to go browse for a page on my site. And it actually was already at that store page, but I want to navigate to that index page. Make sure it's selected. Make sure it's relative to document. And you can see that it's going to put the relative URL in there for you. And you hit open, and voila. It put all that nice code in there for you. And then check this out. We're now going to save. Right now my template isn't saved. It's got the little asterisk. So File, Save. And I get this window that says, do I want to update all of my files? And I'll go, wow, really? You're going to do that for me? Awesome, please do, because you could imagine going back to all of your pages and manually doing that, making sure you got that perfect. And on your home page, it works a little different because we don't have a ... right? But Dreamweaver knows what to do with it, so you just hit update, you let it do its thing. When it says done, you can close it. And guess what just happened? your entire website just got updated. There's store. So even if I go to all these other pages, our link has been updated. That is why we do the templates. So now if I change anything to a global feature on the website, it can automatically do it for me through the Dreamweaver template. It's going to improve accuracy, it's going to take a whole lot less time, and you're not going to forget something. Those are all pretty good reasons to do the template. So there's a little bit of work to get the template set up and apply it to all your pages. I understand that's a little bit of a nuisance. And again, most of the time we would have created all of these pages ahead of time, or we would have created the template first and then created the pages from the template. So we did that a little bit backwards, having the pages already there, and then we have to apply the template, because that was a little bit of a pain, but not too bad. I'm sure you're going to be able to get through it just fine. And there we go. There's Dreamweaver templates. So in all, we have taken what used to be on our About page, all of these global elements. We created a template page for it, and Dreamweaver creates a templates folder for us. It's going to be called template.dwt. So from now on, anytime we change anything that's global content, we just go to this one folder, and it'll update it all for us, given that you have your site manage set up. And then we had editable regions. That's what allows us to change the content that's unique on each page. That's not only the content on the page, but it was also the page title. Later, in probably a later module, I'll show you some meta tags that we can add, such as a page description. I won't bother with that in this class. At least I don't think. Let me just double check. Actually, I just checked the requirements, and we do need to add meta description. So I'm going to create another video on how to add a meta description to each one of your pages so that they're unique. But that's what you needed to know for the template.